Wildfires aren't new in California, but Los Angeles is reaching a breaking point. The city is facing significant economic challenges because much of its revenue comes from tourism. With ongoing fires and poor air quality, it's clear that travelers may think twice before visiting Los Angeles. Fires have destroyed entire communities in California over the past few years, and in November, some voters in Los Angeles chose to cut fire department funding. If you're voting no on funding, you'd better be ready to run. And the same goes for those tree smokers, you know who I'm talking about. Speaking of running, insurance companies are the fastest runners, especially out of California. These wildfires don't just burn trees, they create major problems. Let's break it down to see how this affects everyone and explore some solutions to address this economic issue. If you're new to our investing channel, feel free to subscribe for your better future. Now let's begin. 1. Cutting fire department funding right now doesn't make much sense. Firefighters are the people who stop these fires from getting worse. If they don't have enough resources, the fires will spread faster and cause even more damage. As the New York Post reports, some homes in fire-prone zones are still in high demand despite the risks. However, without sufficient fire services, these areas could become unlivable. It's important for people to understand that funding emergency services isn't just about money. It's about protecting lives and homes. Without it, wildfires will keep causing chaos. One big issue is the housing shortage. California's housing market is already facing a crisis, with limited supply driving up prices. According to Reuters, the destruction of homes by wildfires slows down the process of adding new housing stock, making it harder to meet demand. When homes burn down and aren't replaced quickly, the prices for the homes that are left go way up. This makes it even harder for people to find a place to live. To fix this, the government could speed up rebuilding permits and make it easier to build affordable housing. But rebuilding takes time, and many people end up stuck in temporary housing. On top of that, mortgage rates are over 7%, according to Bankrate.com. This discourages people from selling their homes to buy another at a higher rate and price. The housing market remains expensive, partly because many sellers are holding out for high prices, feeling they missed out on earlier opportunities for big gains. Some of you might be thinking, why don't people just move out of California? While that's a possibility, the reality is that we still have low inventory across the board, which keeps prices stable or even higher, statistically speaking. Unless 50% of the population decides to move out, a scenario that is highly unlikely, housing prices are unlikely to drop significantly. For the people who lose their homes, insurance is supposed to help them rebuild, but that's not always how it works. A lot of insurance companies either stop covering wildfire areas or charge super high premiums. According to the Wall Street Journal, thousands of residents displaced by fires are left searching for temporary housing as they wait for insurance payouts. Some may never receive enough to rebuild. California might need to step in and create its own insurance program for areas with a high risk of wildfires, so everyone has a fair chance to get coverage. But does that mean there will be higher taxes? We shall see.
If this is helpful so far, please consider smashing that like button so that you can help other people too.
Wildfires also make electricity bills go up for everyone since it is damaging a lot of their system. Utility companies, like the ones sometimes blamed for starting the fires, pass on their costs to customers. This means everyone pays more, especially families who are already struggling to make ends meet. The solution might be to hold these companies accountable and make them update their equipment so they don't start fires in the first place. The human side of this disaster is heartbreaking. Families who lose their homes have to deal with years of uncertainty. They might live in temporary shelters, wait forever for insurance payouts, and deal with the stress of losing everything. As the New York Post highlights, some areas destroyed by fires see rebuilding efforts that are slow and disorganized, leaving residents in limbo. This situation adds to California's homelessness problem. When wildfires destroy affordable housing, more people end up living on the streets. Another problem is that when resources are stretched thin, crime often goes up. People may turn to stealing just to survive. This makes it even harder for communities to recover. Programs that help people get back on their feet could stop this cycle and make neighborhoods safer. All these challenges highlight the importance of having an emergency fund. Saving 3 to 6 months worth of expenses can be a lifesaver when disasters strike. Even setting aside a small amount of money each month can make a big difference. Consider keeping your emergency fund in a high-yield savings account to earn a 3 to 4% return rather than leaving it in a checking account where it earns nothing. If you don't have a savings account and are planning to sign up for one, check the link in our description. An emergency fund provides families with a financial cushion to cover essentials like rent, food, and other necessities while they figure out their next steps. Once you have an emergency fund, consider investing in index funds, gold, businesses, and cryptocurrency to grow your money faster. In addition to personal financial planning, it's essential to support fire department funding, especially in California. The state and the people should also focus on developing better fire prevention strategies such as clearing dead branches and dry vegetation, or investing in new technologies to prevent wildfires. Wildfires in Los Angeles aren't just about burning forests. They're changing lives, affecting the economy, and making people rethink how we deal with disasters. From funding fire departments to fixing housing and insurance issues, there's a lot of work to do. As the Wall Street Journal put it, California's resilience will depend on how it prepares for the next wildfire season. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, feel free to check out our next video.